Hey friends, and welcome to the Moms About Sanity podcast. I'm Brittany, accountability coach for women who know they're made for more. This is a space where ambition meets real life, where we talk fitness, family, personal growth, leadership, and all the what the hell is happening right now moments in between. Around here, we don't chase perfection. We build momentum. We push comfort zones, ask better questions, and take real action on the goals that matter most. Each week, you'll hear honest conversations, powerful guests, and grounded reminders that you don't have to choose between showing up for your life and going after your potential. So whether you're walking, sweating, driving, or hiding in your car for 5 quiet minutes, you're in the right place. This is your permission to stop playing small in your own life. Let's get into it. Okay, friends. Well, welcome back. Today I have Shannon Platt on the podcast, and we were just chatting prior. We have met in MCM Mastermind together, and just saying like the value of different rooms like this to get into so that you have these new connections and conversations and really up-leveling yourself. You can never go wrong. So Shannon, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for saying yes. And maybe I'm just going to ask you to intro yourself a little bit. Fellow Canadian here from the other coast.
Yeah, the far East Coast. Thanks, Brittany. So yeah, I am a women's health coach and performance coach. So I help women through every stage of life, mainly pregnancy, postpartum, menopause, and postmenopause. And I have a background in pelvic floor health, a previous owner of a pelvic floor clinic, and I recently sold that. Now my background's in strength training, pre and postnatal fitness, menopause coaching. So I help women build confidence and strength and longevity without burning out or fighting against their bodies, because I think, unfortunately, a lot of us get to that point before we make a change. And I'd rather help women not get to that point of burnout before they feel like they have to do something different. That's kind of, I work with a wide range of women, from athletes to busy moms to women in their 60s who all want to feel strong and capable and in control of their health.
Yeah, I love that. So definitely a wide range of women from, you said like what, pregnancy, all the way through. Yeah. So athletes, busy moms. What's one thing that you find that they all have in common? What are they first coming to you for?
I would mostly accountability. Like you, yeah. And I know you understand that. Like most of them need accountability. And I would say most of them also don't know exactly what to do. Like they want the accountability, but they want the expertise. So they're being like more efficient with their time versus just randomly doing workouts or eating certain ways that may not actually be working for their own bodies. So that's kind of where most of them start with, because it's not always, sometimes it's different goals. It's not always weight. Like sometimes it's weight loss. Sometimes it's rehabbing their pelvic floor after baby or during menopause. And sometimes it's like body recomposition. And sometimes it's, I have the beginning stage of osteoporosis and I want to reduce that bone loss, right? So accountability and like the expertise, I think, is where it kind of starts first when they come to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I find like oftentimes we at some capacity know what we should be doing. It's really just like holding ourselves, as we've said, accountable to doing the thing. And that's really hard to do in busy schedules and giving ourselves the permission to have that self-care time, right? And so having someone in your corner, yeah, I'm all for that.
And even just having that like appointment in your calendar that you're like, oh, like I can't miss that because it's in the calendar, or I've paid for this, whether it's like in person or online coaching. So I'm not going to miss it because I don't want to waste my money. So it's like that. Yeah, that accountability is so key. And coaches need coaches too. I paid for my own coach this past year.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Let's not even. Yeah. Seriously. I feel like if you're a coach and you don't have a coach, then you're preaching to the wrong choir, right? Like we have to really practice what we preach. And, whether that is to our clients or our kids, leading by example. And how do you up level yourself without someone in your corner? Absolutely.
%. Yeah. And whether that's like we joined our business coaching around the same time. And then, I have my fitness coach and it's like, yeah, we need our team of people. We need our team, whether it's financial advisor, our health coach, etc. I could go on and on.
Totally. We can't be everything to everyone, and we don't have every zone of genius. So why would you not pay or find someone that can do it better than you, and vice versa on our skill sets?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
We don't have
So,
that much time, you know, like I
no.
want to be,
Oh
and
my
I get
gosh.
it. Like I want to make the most of my time. So I'm sometimes willing to pay a little extra to get to the goal a little sooner.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pay to pay attention. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Totally.
let's talk pelvic floor because you actually even had a clinic for this. I feel like that's one of those kind of whisper topics, right? Nobody really addresses it head on. What do you wish more women knew about that?
And like, unfortunately, I feel like women don't find out about their pelvic floors until they're either pregnant or postpartum or menopausal. It's like these like stages of life. And I actually wish it could start, the education could start happening like to teenage girls, because a lot of times that's when the shifts initially start, where when they go through puberty, their hips start to widen. You know, there's certain changes that are already happening then, or they're playing high, starting to do high impact sports. And some of that pelvic floor core stability, control, strengthening could happen sooner, but like the education piece around it too, so coaches and mothers and parents all know how to support their girls earlier on, because it's like, yeah, I mean, for example, I didn't know anything about my pelvic floor till my first child, my daughter, my
Yeah.
Sloan, who's 6 now. And I played basketball in university. So about 4 months postpartum after having Sloan, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back to playing basketball, like in the senior women's league I was in. And first game felt great. And usually that's the case. It's like same for moms who go for their first run postpartum. They're like, oh, it's just like adrenaline's going. You're just so happy. And it's not until like that second or third run, which was like the second or third basketball game, where I was like, something like does not feel right. I feel like my vagina's falling out. Like it was just a feeling I had never had before. And
Oh,
one of my and I was like, why is this happening when I'm jumping, or when I was moving laterally, like playing D? And so defense. And so I think it was one of my teammates or girlfriends was like, you should probably go see a pelvic floor physio. And I did. And that pelvic floor physio became my business partner in our pelvic health clinic eventually. But
oh my gosh.
it was like I had no idea. And that's where I ended up shifting careers and going right into, you know, women's health, and got all my like pelvic floor, pre postnatal menopause like coaching specialties, because I was already a trainer. I didn't know about this. So many other women probably don't know how to rehab your core and pelvic floor after having babies. So this needs to be out there more. So from my standpoint, like I had my two business partners were pelvic floor physios, where I was the fitness piece. So they'd go see them, but then they'd come see me in the gym, and we would actually put what they learned to movement, because that's like the
Perfect.
practicality, the functional fitness, right? We
Yeah.
would, okay, how do you strengthen and breathe properly and contract or relax your pelvic floor throughout your squats, throughout your jumps, throughout your, you know, deadlifts,
Oh my
your
gosh. Yeah. I feel like the word Kegel, I didn't even know what it even was until I had kids. But I remember after my first going for a run too soon, I like literally started to run and completely just like peed myself. I like turned back around. I'm like, yep, that's not happening. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Once in a while, like if I've had a cough, like if I have a cold and I'm sneezing a lot, sometimes I'll pee my pants, and I have a pelvic floor specialist, but like
Oh
it's
my
kind of
gosh.
with so much pressure being pushed downward, or like jumping on the trampoline. We have a
Yeah, yeah.
trampoline now, so
I
that's
think
the
every woman can think of that one right now. Yeah. Like, maybe not.
ultimate test for your pelvic floor. If you fail the first time, it's okay. You come see
Yeah.
me, we'll get you, we'll
Oh my gosh.
get you sorted.
That's so funny. I
Yeah.
feel like also perimenopause is kind of having its moment right now in the wellness conversation. So, what are you seeing with your clients that maybe the mainstream fitness world is getting totally wrong?
Well, I think there's a few things. So from the pelvic floor standpoint, there's like some women who've maybe never had any pelvic floor concerns who are now having pain, like pain during intercourse, or are starting to feel like they have to pee their pants or that they have this heaviness, like prolapse, and they're just fighting through it. They're going harder in their workouts. They're like, they have no idea actually how to breathe like through their workouts. Like what I teach with all my clients is how to like relax the core and pelvic floor when you don't need it turned on, and how to kegel and contract that deep core when you do need it turned on for the hard part of the movement. So that's kind of one piece of like from the pelvic floor perspective. With perimenopause, it's so like there's so much information out there that it's overwhelming for everybody. Okay, I need to be doing my strength training 3 times a week. I need to be doing my zone 2 cardio 150 minutes a week. I need to get my zone 4 high intensity in, and then I need to be hitting my protein targets. And I'm like, okay, these are all valid things that we are all trying to do. But like, you can't just go from like 20% to 120%. So I like what I'm kind of trying with those clients is just to habit stack, right? Start with one, let's get that into, and I know that's nothing necessarily new, but most of what I see is either women overtraining and under eating, especially in the perimenopause like world, or they're at the other spectrum where they're like don't even know where to start, and now there's all this information out there, and they're getting paralysis by analysis, and they're not training enough and have no idea what to eat for protein. So there's like finding, and then there's everybody in between who are kind of half doing it and half not. But when we're perimenopause, a lot of us are still like some of us have children who are still need a lot of our time, and then we have aging parents too, and then we're trying to like take care of ourselves and there's like this perfectionist, like every woman I know is just such a perfectionist too, and we're trying to look a certain way and feel our best. So it's like it's kind of a tailored approach, right? What works for one isn't going to work for everybody, but we're comparing ourselves to everybody.
And I like that under eating, overtraining conversation too, because I feel like it's very easy to do without you even realizing it, right? Because if you are busy, if you are on the go and you're not really thinking of fueling properly, it's actually very hard to get like even 100 grams of protein. You have to think about it, right? And so when you're on that journey of getting to that point, it really, I think, brings the awareness into, oh, wow, I'm really not eating enough.
Quick pause, and I want to speak directly to you for a second. If you've been listening to this podcast thinking, this hits, but I need support actually applying it, that's exactly why I built the Momentum Collective. It's a coaching space for women who don't want more information. They want clarity, accountability, and real forward movement. Inside, we focus on building momentum in your health, your mindset, your goals, and your life without burning yourself out. If you're ready to stop circling the same goals and start taking consistent action, the Momentum Collective might be exactly what you've been looking for. You can find all the details in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode.
Yeah. And I would say like 90% of women I've seen are not eating enough. Not eating enough protein, but not eating enough in general.
Yeah.
And I know it's such a like oxymoron, or like, because it's like, well, I'm supposed to be, if I eat less, then I'll lose more. And it's not always the calories, it's not always the calories in, calories out.
Especially as we age, it's definitely not that.
It's definitely not, as you know, and like it's about nutrients. It's about timing. Sometimes if you're training a lot, like how do we time it a little bit better so you're getting that those glycogen storage up before and after? But it's hard. We all want to feel our best, right? So like, what does that look like? And even I hired a coach, my own health and fitness coach, a year ago, last April, like exactly. And because I just turned 40 this past March. I was like, all right, leading into my 40th, I'm going to like feel my best, like just lock it in. And then we had a 40th Mexico girls trip that we also had in a few weeks ago. So it was all going to line up. So it was just like a carrot to dangle for myself. I needed something just to like, just be a little.
I get it. I like usually plan a race and I'm like, okay, this is like the end is like actually fun because it's a destination and
It is, right? Now I'm kinda thinking, what is that next thing? And I get it. Like, it's just nice to have that little destination.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, I was and I did. I was like, you know what? I've never really had like a weight loss goal, but I'm like, why don't I try? Like, I'm 5'9". I started off at around 164. I'm kind of tall, like muscular body. And I was like, you know what? I remember being like 155 even after kids, and I felt really good. So I was like, let's, maybe aim for that, but like more so body composition. And objectively, it worked. Like, I was the leanest I'd ever been over this past year. Like, I probably was more around 24, 25% body fat, went to 19% body fat. I don't think I've ever been that or since like in the last number of years, but I didn't really reach my weight goal. My weight was still like 159, 160. And I was kind of disappointed. And it seems so stupid saying that out loud, even as a fitness, like a women's health coach, like that. Why would that was just, it's kind of ridiculous, but so it just goes to show like you can, the scale is such like a mind fuck, if I could say that
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, totally. It's a tool, but it is, yeah, it can
It's
be,
a tool, it's a piece of
yeah,
data, right? And at the same time, like, even though I didn't hit my goal, I felt great. My energy was great, like, and I was technically doing everything right. But you know what? Something still kind of fell off. And not the weight thing, but it was like I was super disciplined. I wasn't drinking much. I didn't really drink much the whole year. I said no to some social things. And like I was trying to, I think like perfection. I was trying to be like perfect. Like the
yeah.
perfectionism stuff came in. When I went to Mexico on our girls trip, I was like, let myself go a little. I had my drinks. I ate what I wanted. I didn't track my macros. I worked out because I always love moving my body, and that's just whether I'm on vacation or not, as I'm sure you can attest. But I was just present, and coming back from that was like such a good reminder that it's not about perfectionism. And sometimes we need, like, that gave me such good structure, and I built great habits through that discipline. But like, feeling your best is also about so mumuch more than that,
Oh my gosh.
than like
Yeah,
how lean I
absolutely.
was or am. I'm like, for what? Like, yeah, it was a good reminder. Not that we need to go to Mexico and go on a girls trip to like have these reminders, but those, like, it was the best reminder ever that those, like, yeah, having a drink once in a while is okay. And I know that's not popular opinion from a women's health coach, but like doing the things that make you feel good.
Yeah, that's what life's about too, like having the 80/20, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
So
think there's a pressure on like high performing women and moms to kind of just like push through, right? No excuses. We're just going to get it done. And so you had that pause to be like, okay, like I did really well and I showed up for myself, but like, is this all life, right? How do you coach someone out of that mindset when it's almost being like her identity?
when they're that like type A, super
Yeah.
rigid, yes,
Yeah.
great question. Because I'm sure I do have a lot of those clients, and it is tough because you do have to pull them back from overtraining and from under eating. So it's kind of like getting them like a little win along the way, because they need to see the data or feel it in their body to then make, like, they really need to see it to change, because they're just so, like, yeah, straight ahead, nothing's going to change what I think. So I often start with like a little bit more recovery for them. So like a lot of times, if they're training 5, 6 days, 7 days a week, like, let's see what a day or two of recovery, like true recovery, like not a zone 2 walk with your weighted vest on,
Yeah.
actually like one day of like not even maybe walking, or just like a 10-minute like outdoor like light jog walk.
Yeah.
That's where I usually start, because then they can start to feel like, oh, I didn't have my delayed on my DOMs, like I didn't have any
Yeah.
muscle soreness when I was getting ready for my workout the next day. Like, I actually could push my weights a little bit more, but then recover the day after, and feel like, yeah, like you see it, like their cortisol, their stress, they
Oh.
start to sleep better. So I usually start with like actually instituting a recovery day or two.
I love that. I also think it's really hard to do. I've noticed like as I've gotten older, right? It's almost a bit like I'm way better at listening to my body, waking up and being like, okay, yeah, this would be a good strength day, or no, like I just need to lightly stretch, or maybe it is a walk day. And I think when we tune out of our intuition, that's when we get too stuck in that just go, 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 right? And being able to really be like, and also some people can use maybe that as an excuse to not do it all. But when we're talking about more the women that are almost a bit harder on themselves, just really tune into yourself more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do find there's a lot of women who are like 5 a.m. or bust,
Yeah,
like it's a 5 a.m. workout and I get it. Like I've been in those phases too. Um, and seasons of life. And it's like the only time of the day where I can get my workout in. Or you might be a morning person and love that. But as you get older, I think it does affect you more. The morning workouts aren't necessarily the thing that they
yeah,
should be doing. Like sometimes it's a later in the day and playing around with that, like just seeing it, testing it out. Like I'll test it out with some of my clients too and see if they recover better or just feel more energized and can lift a little bit heavier during that session.
totally. I think we can get so caught up in, yeah, what things should look like. And then also, oh, I need to make time for my morning routine or this and that. And then I recently saw someone being like, oh, I definitely make sure I get all that in. I get up at 3 a.m. And I'm like, okay, like that's just a recipe for burnout unless you're going to bed at like 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And if you have children, or even if you don't have children, like how do you how do you go to bed that early?
I know, seriously. So you've talked about like helping women see what they couldn't see on their own. So what's the most common blind spot you encounter? Like the thing women almost never realize about themselves until you're like, okay, there it is.
I think two things, like one from a strength, like a fitness standpoint, one from a nutrition standpoint,
Mm,
is like they can lift heavier than they think. It's just like you see a woman in a gym and they generally go lighter than they think, and a man goes into a gym and he usually lifts heavier than he should be. So it's
yeah,
just such a like ingrained thing in our society. But that's the first, like I just don't think women truly know what lifting heavy can like feels like and generally I talk about, and you probably the same, Brittany, is like that RPE of 8, like 2 reps left in the tank, like 1 rep. But that takes time to feel that in your body. Like what if you're new to strength training? And even if you're not new to strength training, like it's you can still get caught up in just lifting kind of the same amount of weight for a period of time, and not actually
for sure.
progressive loading. So that would be
Yeah.
one. And then from the nutrition side of things, just that it's the protein they're not, and not actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I would say most women are eating not enough carbs.
Oh, yeah.
Carbohydrates, yeah, because we've all been scared of carbs for from the early 2000s. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what it was about that that like era, but women became so scared of carbs, including myself at stages again of my life, and they don't have the energy to then fuel their workouts, and that's why it's not why, but it's part of why a lot of them are burning out because they're just not like now everyone's focused on the protein, but like it's actually the carbs that they're, and like the complex carbs, like like the good kind of carb too, the good,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rice, the potatoes, like I could go
Totally, because that turns into your fuel. And if you're not having any of that, you do need the well-rounded diet.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's definitely like a piece where my clients are like, and I actually feel better like once I up their carbs for them, then they're like they are feeling more energized for their day. They're not crashing at 3 p.m. They have some energy in the tank for their kids after their work day. And then they're able to train and feel, not thrashed afterward as well. And even get into that zone 4 training too for that sprint interval or high intensity interval training too. So yeah, carbs would be a blind spot for a lot of women.
So the nutrition is there with the fitness, and then hormones are so connected now also and can also be so complicated, right? So what should like every woman understand about how the hormones affect our training? and our
Yeah.
energy.
Well, it's like I definitely am telling a lot of my clients to start, they're like a lot of them in their late 30s, early 40s, and especially with a lot of women having kids later now, it's hard to know what is postpartum hormonal shifts and what is perimenopause hormonal shifts. And so like I have a pretty good referral system with our naturopaths and doctors around here so that women can go get their blood work checked on a more regular basis. And I actually like would love to get more connected too with like lab testing around Canada. Like if I know there's so much of that going on in the States where you can just get it like ordered to your house. And I know you were
I know,
talking
right?
about peptides
So,
on your
yeah,
last podcast, like the whole peptide conversation too. I'm like I want access, I want to learn more, and I just want women to feel their best and have access to everything that they need to feel their best. So from a hormonal standpoint, like I do tell them to listen, like track your cycles so we kind of know where you are, whether you're on your period or not, or the week before your period, if you have a period. I don't adjust their training necessarily for that unless they feel like they need to.
hmm,
And like, again, that may or may not be popular opinion, but like month to month, we just kind of see based on that. But yeah, like definitely keeping on top of your hormones and seeing your practitioners that can get some lab testing, some blood work done for you is so key. Just
yeah,
to have the information, right? So
I
what
agree. I
what your
love
base.
information. Yeah, you need that information. You need your baseline, as you just said, for sure.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what are you doing with your clients when it comes to like the hormones and testing and
Yeah, I don't specifically obviously do it, but I do it for myself. And
yeah,
so it comes up in our conversations as clients all the time. And I refer them to just people that I enjoy and have used, naturopathic doctors, especially here in Canada. That's where you're going to get way more results, right? Like our GPs, unfortunately, just don't have the time or the capacity. And so outsourcing. I have a few incredible women here in BC that a lot of my clients have actually now seen. Yeah, I think just finding those right supports.
totally, totally.
Yeah,
And your
yeah.
team. Yeah.
So you mentioned something about feeling your best. So what does feeling your best mean to you?
Well, I wanted when I was talking about my Mexico trip and how that kind of like helped shift my mindset on like what feeling your best is. I think
Yeah.
part of that as well is novelty. And I don't know if we talk about that enough, but a client of mine not long ago said this to me, and it's just been like sticking with me, and I've been reflecting on it. And I don't know the research or science behind it, but she was like, time speeds up when you're kind of doing the same thing every day, the monotonous thing. You're just in your rotation of life and you're doing the same thing every day. But that novelty piece helps slow it down. So, when you're doing something that's a little bit more unique or a little bit more memorable or just doing something that's like out of your day to day routine, line, time, time
Salon.
slows.
Yeah, you have kids. Yeah.
Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, time slows down because you're a little bit more present and it's just like something different from your day to day. So I feel like that is something I'm going to be starting to incorporate is a little bit more of that. Like, what is it as part of feeling my best? And everyone's personality is different. I'm definitely like a generator. If you like if you listen to human design and like feed
Yeah.
off people's energy and I need to bring good energy to the world. But in order for me to do that, I need a little bit of novelty to my life. And I think that's when I feel my best. So like structure in my health and fitness, like my workouts, feeling my best, like eating good food that fuels me, that 80-20 rule while still having some fun with food as well. But then adding, like, especially when you're a parent and a mother, something like my 40th girls trip, but it doesn't have to be that. I actually am looking at doing like a painting class once a week just to get out of the house and use like my brain in a different way that's not productive, is just solely for fun and for like.
Yeah, I love that. And the art of being creative, right? I think that it's so easy to shut that off because we don't allow ourselves to get like quiet enough sometimes. And
Oh,
so, oh yeah, painting,
girl.
amazing. girls retreat, whatever that is, like just giving yourself that time.
Yeah, exactly. Even like I've gotten into house music recently over the last few years. I feel like a 19-year-old because I'm like, shouldn't I have gotten into like raves earlier on in my life?
My husband and my 16-year-old are so into it. We just went to John Summit. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this isn't really my jam, but like it was fun.
I know it's like it's not everybody's jam, but like my husband and I have gotten into like just that music. And
Yeah.
again, that's kind of been a novelty, like fun thing that we do once
I
in a
love it.
while. And you just like it's just so fun to let loose and dance and like yeah, it just brings joy, right? Like something that brings you
Bring
joy.
the
So I think
joy.
yeah, because we have too much structure in our lives. And again, I love structure for 80% of the time, but we need at least like that 20% of novelty and fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've loved this conversation. I have a few rapid fire questions for you to finish up today.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
for you, morning workout or evening?
Morning.
Strength training or cardio if you had to pick one for life?
Strength training.
How about the wellness trend you wish would just die already?
Oh, wellness trend. Frig. I don't know. I like high rocks. But I just see it everywhere right now.
It's having a moment.
I might end up doing one someday, but I'm just seeing it too much.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then most underrated recovery tool.
Ooh, walking in the sun with a bestie.
Yes, please. And that requires sun.
That does.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
just nothing like a little bit of sun on the face in Canada, especially because we're just coming out of deep
Exactly.
winter.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Tell us like how one can work with you and then also where to find you.
Yes. You guys could find me on Instagram at Shan Platt, SHANN Platt, PLATT. You can also go to my website, shannonplatttraining.ca, and just send me a message. You can reach out there and we can start a conversation there. And yeah. And we can work one-on-one. I do online coaching. If you're in the Halifax area, Nova Scotia, I do in-person coaching as well. But that's where you can find me. Would love for you to reach out.
Thank you so much for being here and just having a great, fun conversation that we're living right now in this perimenopausal life. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Brittany. Always a pleasure. It's been fun. And I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this and you're like, okay, this is exactly what I need, where I don't want to be all or nothing anymore. I don't want another rigid plan that I'm not going to follow, but I also don't want to feel stuck. This is exactly the work I do with women. This involves strength training, your cardiovascular plan, your overall fitness and movement plan, along with how we're going to fuel you properly, what that food might look like for you for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And again, not just something that's elaborate that you're not going to follow, something that actually fits your life. And then there's the other parts of it, the lifestyle, the sleep, the stress. We track all of that and make sure that we're not missing anything. I offer one-on-one online coaching where we figure out what your version of feeling your best actually looks like, and then build a plan around your real life, your schedule, your season, your goals. And because this conversation, it's really about sustainability and not just doing something for 8 or 12 weeks and then falling off. I'm actually offering something a little different for your audience. So for anyone who signs up for my 12-week coaching, I'm including an extra 4 weeks of support for free. So you're not just getting results, but you're learning how to actually maintain them and live it out long term. Because if we're being honest, that's where most of us fall short, is actually how to integrate it into our everyday lives. I'll open up a handful of spots for listeners because I do keep things pretty high touch and very personalized. So if this sounds like something for you, you can find me over on Instagram in my DMs. I'm usually there, or find me at shannonplatt.ca, and we can just start with a conversation and see if it's a good fit.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. If today's conversation resonated, then ask yourself what one small action you can take from it. Because momentum isn't built in big dramatic moments. It's built in a quiet follow through, the honest choices, and the decision you make when no one's watching. If you loved this episode, the best way to support the show is to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't have to choose between showing up for your life and going after your potential. This is your permission to stop playing small. I'll see you next time.